everybody. This is the Book Asylum podcast. We are here today, rescheduled with London Blue. And London, thank you so much for showing up. I am JL Folk, and I also have with me Dungeon Dan. We want to thank you for being here so much. I am so excited that we're able to talk to you because I personally have read your book, The Last Call. I've been waiting to talk to you about this book. I'm telling you, I love this book. It's a short one. And
Yeah.
it's a very easy read, but it was so intriguing. I did not want to put it down when I had to. It took me a couple days because I had to put it down to go to work, and life getting in the way. But oh my God, I love this book. Okay, so give us a premise on The Last Call and what was your thought process behind this?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Yes.
My apologies for the rescheduling. My fur baby got really sick. She's
No
doing better
worries.
now.
We're
No
very
worries.
fur baby friendly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and then the next day, my granddaughter got sick. So yeah, it was
Oh,
a whole mess. But anyway, everybody's doing better.
good.
So thank you for having me and being willing to reschedule. I
Oh,
appreciate that.
absolutely.
Yeah, the last call, co-wrote that with David Musser, and we were in a Facebook group together, and we started chatting, and he sent me a message, and he was like, "Hey, so it looks like we write the same genre, and we have kind of like the same headset." He's like, "So would you want to co-write a book?" And I'm like, "Well, about what?" And so he pitched the original idea. I give him credit for that. And I just kind of ran with it. It's just like, oh yeah, and we can base it on the seven deadly sins, and we
Yeah.
can write different characters for each sin, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And it was a really fun project to do.
So
Very
for those that don't know what it is, this is a book basically based in purgatory. Is that correct? That's what
well,
I got. It's a
I
bar.
guess it
It's a
depends on
bar.
I guess it depends on your actual beliefs.
Right. So
So
it's like
it
it's
could go it
it's
could go about anywhere depending on how you believe that, and that's one reason it was so fun to write. It was because we left it open,
you
in that
really did.
we didn't identify exactly
I-
that's what it was. So
Right. You didn't. And I'm taking this from a very long time ago church going kind of a experience, but which actually that we didn't even believe in purgatory, but
yeah.
I understand that there's, different faiths out there that have different beliefs, but we this is really cool. It's a really awesome take on kind of a not really a judgment center. I don't even know how to explain it then because it is
Right.
kind of, you're kind of reliving your life and your greatest hits. And
Yeah. Yeah, that was the whole idea, was that and I was raised in the church.
uh-huh.
That as an adult I've kind of pulled away because of the politics of church. But anyway,
Yeah.
um but that's one, and that's one thing that you will find is I do still put slip a little Bible scripture or biblical reference or that type of thing in pretty much all of my work. So this one was really exciting for me to write. And one of my characters in there was actually a preacher's wife who found herself in this position.
She was a
So yeah,
I wanted to
and
smack
that
her.
was, and I really wanted that to scream out because
And it did.
because I know this isn't a show about religion, but I really wanted her character to scream out because everybody has sin, everybody's messes up,
Yes.
has mistakes. But the whole idea was that seven strangers, again, is based on loosely on the seven deadly sins, and these seven strangers mysteriously wind up in a bar, and they have to relive their worst sins or their worst acts as humans. And depending on how they relive, the new choices that they make determines what key they get
Yes.
and which door is opened for them. So again, it's really left open. It's not, oh, you're going to go to heaven or hell. I mean, the doors don't even really represent heaven or hell. It's just, this is what you experience when you go through this door. This is what he experiences when he goes through this door. So we kind of left it open. Um,
Yeah, I really liked it. I cannot recommend it enough, to be honest.
Thank you. I
Be-
appreciate that.
oh yeah, no,
It's really
I
kind of been hidden under the doormat. I mean, not many
it was
people have discovered it yet.
it was like pulling teeth trying to find it for sure.
Yeah.
But I was so glad when because I went to your website and I looked at it, which down in the ticker is your website if anybody wants to look for it. But you're
Mhm.
also on Amazon.
Yes.
Um, so I found it, and then I had to look it up by I think your co-author's name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I tried to put you in and it didn't show up, and so I had to
Okay.
look it up under David's name. So, but I found it and I read it on Kindle, and oh my God, I just, I really enjoyed it because it was an easy read, it was a fast read, and it was interesting. That was my thing. It kept me interested. But you have a ton of other books, so
Yeah,
I have a few. I have a few.
you have because
Um,
you kind of got a little bit of everything on there, isn't that right?
yeah, I dabble in a little bit of everything. But
She's a
yeah,
dabbler.
but yeah, back to the last call. My absolute favorite character in that is Asher, and he's
Yes.
kind of the gatekeeper, barkeeper, the
Yes.
key holder. He was a really cool character, and I'm hoping to actually take his character and write an additional book on just him and how
Oh,
he
that was
came
my
about
next
that
question.
position.
yeah,
Thank
So
God. I'm
I love
yeah.
excited for that. I did too. I really did because he was very nonchalant, very blasé about, mouthy people. Oh, the one guy, I can't remember his name, but it was the one guy who had all the money because he grew up
Oh yeah,
poor. That one.
yeah, yeah. That was one of David's
Girl,
characters.
if I could have punched him in his face, if he
Right?
was standing here, right here, he was just such a
Yeah,
bad word
he was a
that
nerd.
yes, he was a very not nice person. And I mean you guys did such a great job describing these peoples because I either loved them or hated them or loved them then hated them or hated them then loved them. I mean, you guys did such a good job. And I really was hoping that you were going to write another book.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely I've got so many things in the fire right now. But a question, since you enjoyed it so much,
Yeah,
I would like your honest feedback on the different points of view.
I
Because I know
loved it.
some people, I've seen different people posting in the writers group saying that they can't stand first person or first person perspective in certain
I think that's a
situations or
personal preference. I
and
really
this book
loved it.
literally goes
Yeah,
it jumps from
everywhere.
different perspectives.
Yes, and I really enjoyed it because it kept it happen. It wasn't boring. And that to me, and not to, I probably shouldn't say this, but
Yeah, you
I
probably
think,
should.
I think someone who has a problem with jumping perspective to perspective has a problem keeping up. So I'm sorry you're not smart enough to keep up. I really enjoyed it. It kept it moving, kept it going, kept it like, oh, it's coming from this chick, it's
Yeah,
coming from, the a holier than thou Christian lady. It's
yeah,
coming from, I absolutely loved everything about it. I did not
awesome.
have one I even wrote a review on it, I believe, but I did not because usually I do. I did not find one thing in it that really I could sit here and say, yeah, I really didn't like this. No, I loved it all. I
Awesome.
loved it all. I loved the length. I loved the different perspectives, the technicality of it, your guys' descriptions of everything.
That's
You guys,
awesome.
I could
Thank you.
see it in my mind. So and I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to talk to her. This book was so good.
I'm
Well,
really glad you
And then
enjoyed
the cat gets sick. I
it.
was
Yeah.
like, damn it, cat.
Oh, she was driving me crazy that day.
Oh, I bet she was. But I'm glad you're here now. So it was
Absolutely.
such a good book. And then you just made my day by telling me there's gonna be another one at
Yeah.
some point. I'm
Um,
fangirling.
yeah, actually, I started out with a poetry book in 2016, and since then I've gone back and read it, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I actually put that out. I mean,
Was that
rereading it
your
now.
first? The poetry book was
The
your very
poetry book was
first?
my first indie published book,
Okay.
and yeah, in 2016. And I was at that point, I had just got divorced. I was raising both of my girls on my
Oh
own.
yeah.
I was going to
Uh-huh.
college full time
Yep.
and writing and editing. And yeah, back then I didn't even know that we were supposed to have an editor to
Yeah.
publish.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, looking back at that book now is like, oh, I'm embarrassed. But and then I published Mass Mayhem Maladies. And that one was actually, it's 7 chilling tales that are opened up by 7 creepy poems that take place during a pandemic. Most of the stories in that could actually happen. So that's what makes it really creepy.
Oh, another
It's
one
a
for me.
very interesting read. Again, looking back now after writing more and learning more about the craft, that's one that I think, oh, okay, I could have done so much better with that. But it is still a really great read. The stories are still really intriguing, and I was going to pull it off and edit it and republish. And somebody said, no, 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 don't do your readers that way. That's not fair to them, especially the ones who really enjoyed it. And so I'm like, yeah, you know what? True. So I am going to do a different version of that one and just release it as a second edition. But the stories in there are very intriguing, and they are definitely adult. They are definitely adult. That gets into some very hairy
18
situations.
plus. 18 plus.
Yeah.
Got it.
um, so then I did the last call. And then my latest is actually, I'm kind of, since I've had a granddaughter in the last 3 years, I'm kind of wanting to lean more towards dark fiction, kind of Goosebumps vibes. I'm not giving up the adult horror because I do
I
enjoy writing
love
that.
Goosebumps though. I'm in
But
my 40s and I love Goosebumps.
yes, I still love Goosebumps books.
Yes.
I mean, I just
Yes.
turned 50 and I still love the Goosebumps.
Yep.
The movies, the books, all of it.
Yes.
But my latest book was with that in mind, and it's called The Tabar. And it is about a creature who comes every Easter and absorbs the town bullies. And it takes place in Colesmouth here in St. Albans. And the creature on the cover was actually drawn by Hollywood prop master Kelly Farah, who worked on The Walking Dead, Pirates of the Caribbean, Last of the Mohicans, Gettysburg. I mean, he has a long resume. He actually drew the creature on the cover for me. So that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that was a really neat one.
Do you know him, Dan?
I'm
What's
sorry.
that?
Do you know him, Dan?
No, I don't know him.
Oh, Dan was in special effects and stuff like that.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah. There's that's Kelly.
Nice. Yeah, I've never had the pleasure of meeting him.
aw.
He's a great guy. But yeah, and then I've had shorts in 4 different anthologies and one more coming out in the Thanks RJ book. So yeah, those stories, a couple of those stories get a little more gruesome than, not all of them, but a couple of them get a little more gruesome than what I typically write in my own book. So that's kind of cool being able to write in anthologies like that because I can get as gory or gross as I want.
Yes.
And it still doesn't, it doesn't portray how I'm wanting to go with the young adult dark fiction. So
Right. Right.
Gotcha. Angel had a question for you. What was your biggest influence to start writing?
that's an interesting question. I actually started writing poetry when I was in 5th grade. By the time I was in 6th grade, my teacher sent off some of my work for competition, and I won. And I was awarded a college scholarship for a summer writing program at University of Charleston. and
wow.
in 6th grade. And my brother was 6 years older than I am, and he was always talking about going to college. And I got to tease him. I was like, "Ha ha! I get to go to college before you do." So I don't know. It's just it's always been my thing. I found it very cathartic to write. If I got sad or excited about something, I would pull out a pen and paper and start jotting down stories. And in fact, one of the stories in Mass Mayhem Maladies, Mama's Beast, I wrote that in 7th grade. And my girls were going through some of our old paperwork and stuff, and they found the old yellowed notebook paper where I had scratched the story out in black Sharpie in 7th grade. And they're like, "Mom, this is cool. You should finish this, or you should rewrite this and publish it." And I was like, "Yeah." So that actually kind of stemmed the whole idea for the Mass Mayhem Maladies book.
That is so awesome.
So I've always, but as far as influential people, I've always been in love with Edgar Allan Poe's work. Mary Shelley, obviously, I'm a huge fan. Not only because she was amazingly talented, but she was breaking boundaries before boundaries were even acknowledged. So
Yeah. Yep. That's some of these trendsetters and pioneers in the women can't do this, women can't do that, and making the way for us. Thank you.
absolutely. And I know I'm a huge fan of Nellie Bly as well. The 10 Days in a Madhouse, where in
Okay.
late 1800s, she literally checked herself in to an insane asylum to find out
Oh.
what the true stories that were going on in there about the horrible neglect and abuse. She
Yeah.
literally checked herself into an insane asylum so she could get the story. Now that's dedication.
Wow.
That's
Method
a love of research.
Absolutely. Her book was
Wow.
amazing. And if you ever get the chance to read it, I encourage you to do so. But I also encourage you to look up the movie. The movie is it's jaw dropping if you think that, wow, this was based on a true story. I mean, it's
Wow.
jaw dropping. She was pretty awesome too.
That's nuts.
How do you create your characters? I mean, I know every story is different characters, but what's your process when you go through figuring out who they are, what their issues might be, and how they're going to get out of their situations?
That's an interesting question.
Took me all week to think of it.
That really is an interesting question, because I don't really sit down and do outlines or notes, or I get
We
an
got
idea.
a pantser.
I just get an idea of a storyline, and I think, okay, usually the storyline is based around a particular person that I've dreamed about, or I've met in real person, or in real life, or but yeah, normally it just starts with the plot, and it just flows. I don't know. I mean, I've literally gotten into some stories, again, in the Mass Mayhem series. There's a story in there where one of my characters goes and joins the freaking mob, and I fussed on Facebook for a week over that character joining the mob, and I'm like, I don't know anything about the mob. Why did you go and do that? It is like, literally, it's like they take a life of their
They
own.
have a mind of
And
their
I have no
own.
clue
I
where it
agree.
came from.
Yep.
Absolutely
I
had
agree.
no clue where it came from. It's just like they ran off and did something. Now I've got to do research to figure out how
Yeah.
to get them out of this mess. So
Yep.
yeah.
They do that all the time. And it's like, where oh, I feel like a parent when it comes to my characters. And it's like, who taught you this? I didn't teach you this. You're in my head in the first place. Who taught you this? I didn't raise you like this. What's wrong with you?
Raise you like this.
Right.
I didn't bring you into existence to do this. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So, do you base all of your books based in, well, obviously not Last Call, but do you have like a specific place? Do you try and keep it close to home when you're basing your books?
A lot of my stories do take place in Cole's Mouth.
Is it
St.
because it's
Albans.
weird there, or is
Um,
it
it's
just enchanting,
it's
or
it's one of those little small towns, kind of like the Mayberry feeling, but
Mhm.
uh-huh.
it's really a larger area and a larger population than most people realize. And we have a lot of mountains and old train tunnels and rivers and
So
somebody
anything could
told
be
me, and then I
living
didn't
there.
I didn't know this. Somebody told me that St. Albans actually used to be an island at one point.
Really?
So yeah, this place has a lot of history. There's a lot of Native American culture.
Yeah.
There's a lot of horror in our history here.
Yes.
um, but
Yeah, back east, there's tons of it.
yeah, but if not in Cole's Mouth, then most of my stories do take place in the Appalachians. I do try to stay in the Appalachian Mountains. So
Okay. Anything can happen there, I guess.
yeah,
I mean, hell,
And it
Bigfoot.
usually does.
It usually does.
we have so
Because
many
there's,
we have so many undiscovered woods and areas that well, not necessarily undiscovered, but I know there's a lot of undiscovered creatures and specimens. And
yeah,
I'm not saying I believe in Bigfoot, but
but
there, you can't tell me that. I mean, look at all of the amazing ocean life, marine life that we haven't
oh
discovered.
yeah,
You can't tell me that
Right.
there's not insects and critters and creatures running through the Appalachian Mountains, because
Oh.
there is like thousands of acres that are protected to where
there's-
they're not even allowed to turn into like camping or hiking areas or something. There's like hundreds of thousands of acres in the Appalachians that they preserve to where you can't do, I mean, you can't even go in there to explore as far as
yeah.
camping or, to make it.
Well, there's a whole cave system under there too.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh yeah.
nobody
Got that massive cave
explored.
system.
Yeah.
Oh, I got
Nobody
one better.
knows what's in there.
Yeah. Well, one even better than that. We have an ocean running underneath our feet. And here in West
What?
Virginia, yeah.
That's called lava.
No.
Lava.
No, it's
you have water.
I believe it's called the Ipeta Ocean. Millions of year old ocean running underneath our feet, and we are literally closer to it than a lot of the Appalachian area here in West Virginia. In fact, we have a company still operating today over in Rand, Malden, West Virginia, called the J.Q. Dickinson Salt Mine, to where they are still mining salt from it today. Yeah. We literally have an ocean right under our feet.
No,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack said, "Ooh, Jennifer Foulk now have a place to dish the bodies." Sorry, sir. If it's a salt mine, they'll float. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Now, have you written any stories that dive into? Okay, everybody's going to get mad. Dives into the weird shit that happens in the Appalachians.
Who's gonna get mad? Everybody knows there's weird shit that happens.
Everybody that lives there, I'm going to go visit, and they're like, "I saw that podcast. You're dead."
Yeah, if we have that, we'll start being millionaires.
Yeah, actually I do. I mean, I've kind of shy away from the Mothman stuff. I know everybody loves the Mothman, but I'll be honest with you, living in the area and being a horror writer, I'm kind of tired of the Mothman.
I believe it.
I mean, it's like Mothman this, Mothman that. Yeah, all right. But I did write a short story that was published in one of the anthologies. That was about the Braxton County Monster.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and then I recently I've also started a creepy storytelling podcast called Moonlit Tales, and on there, those stories take place in the Appalachian, and they're definitely creepy, weirded out stories. But one of them on there, I mentioned earlier that I don't really believe in Bigfoot. Well, one of my stories on that podcast is called Yentley and the Crone. And it's my version of what I think, if there's a real Bigfoot, it's my version of what he might be. It's an interesting tale.
Jack says Bigfoot believes in you.
Yep. And the
Mothman
Mothman has
dreams.
dreamiest eyes.
Yeah. But Jack's into bestiality.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that my tabar kind of reminded them of the Mothman. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll do a sequel, because supposedly there was a rumor that at one time the Mothman had visited St. Albans as well. So I was thinking, what if the tabar was actually an offspring of the Mothman and another creature here in St. Albans?
That's ingenious.
Tabar is a Mothman baby.
Why don't you do that? Oh my God. That's ingenious.
Because
that would work.
If you flip the tabar backwards, it's actually rabbit backwards. So the tabar has these enormous long ears that wraps around the bullies and absorbs them. So
that's weird.
So they're
You just
like,
defined the biggest
theory.
Ooh, he had a baby with a jackalope. There you go. That is a great idea.
That really is.
Okay, so yeah, now that I'm done, Angel Ramon's asking, do you plan to tackle any other genres?
Absolutely. I'm actually all over the place. Like I said, I've done a poetry book. I've actually written a children's poetry book dedicated to my granddaughter, based on our 5 living generations of females. And I'm doing more dark fiction, young adult. But the story that I'm working, the new book I'm working on is actually called Janie and the Dragon. And again, obviously, it's going to be another young adult. But that's more fantasy.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that one. I had a beta reader read it up to a certain point that I have it at right now, and she was excited over it. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait till you finish it. This is great." I was reading it at work. I couldn't stop reading. So I'm pretty excited about getting that one finished too. So yeah, awesome. I'm definitely open to different genres.
Awesome.
Nice. Jen, you just look shocked.
I'm just sitting here. There's so many ideas going through my head, and I'm just like, yeah, the jackalope and the Mothman really could have. I'm stuck on that one.
And that's the thing. I'm literally working on 4 different books right now, in addition to my storytelling podcast that I've started. And I'm now doing live storytelling events. Just had one on the 18th, and it went over so well that I've been requested to do an encore show of it. So we're doing an encore show of that on March 10th. It's Macabre at the Meadery, and the story is The Tale of the Rings, and cursed wedding rings.
Aren't they usually?
Story.
Yeah, I was going to say that explains most of them.
It's definitely a fun story, and the event was really cool because it's something that I'm pretty sure has never been done before, but it's an interactive storytelling to where we have scent cards that I've written into the story at different fragrances or aromas that the characters smell, and I have Captain Riggs, personal care, who's making actual scent cards based on the storyline to where the audience can pull out the card and smell it to feel like they're there with the character.
Oh wow. So
that's
it's
brilliant.
Like 4D.
I had Mason's Chocolate Factory, who is literally making little goodies that when the characters get to certain points in the story, then the audience gets to taste what they're tasting.
Ooh.
Plus the audience literally, I get to pivotal points in the story, and the audience literally gets to choose which way the story goes. So it's an adult choose your own adventure. Macabre.
Everybody loves those. I don't care who you are.
But so, I mean, how cool is it to do it live, to be in an audience where you literally get to choose which way the story goes? That's what I'm doing now. So
that sounds like a lot of fun.
Great ideas.
No kidding.
Yeah. And then I just met with the city council, and last year I did Moonlit Mystery storytelling event with the Haunted Trail here in St. Albans. And that went over so well that literally the next night, they're like, we need to plan a meeting for next year. Well,
oh wow.
I just had a meeting with them, and we're going even bigger and badder this year with that.
That's amazing.
So we're going to, in fact, I'm even going to incorporate like a little murder mystery for our
Ooh.
characters or for
Yeah.
our guest. And I think I'm going to even include a storytelling competition. And they
You guys
asked
need to do
me,
this on live.
well, and they asked me if they had another big event going on in June or July called Dragon Palooza. And they're like, London, we really need you involved in this event. You know, you're bringing people in. We need you at this event too. Can you do something at this event? And I'm like, heck yeah. I was like, that's where we'll do the short story competition preliminaries. And guess what? You all are the first to hear about it. So there you go. There's the big announcement that's been coming up.
Wow.
We were going to be
God,
doing a
that is
short
so
story
cool.
competition at the Dragon Palooza. And the finalists from that event will go on to the Moonlit Mysteries finals. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So, do you like have tons of time to write? Are you kind
Not so
of
much anymore.
balancing? Yeah, are you balancing like doing all these 8 million events that sound so cool that make me want to come to West Virginia? Are you balancing that with writing, grandparenting with writing? You know, do you still have young kids at home? Do you have a job? You know, how much time do you get to actually write?
I am a very lucky lady. I have a my new husband is very supportive and he works hard so I can stay home and write. So I do all this full time. Bless his heart, he's out
Nice.
working now.
That is wonderful.
My youngest daughter is still home. She's about to turn 19. She's going to college for psychology and criminal justice, which actually she's going to my alma mater. I graduated with a bachelor's in sociology and a minor in criminal justice, and she's going for psychology and a minor in criminal justice. So
Wow.
But all of these events that I'm doing, I am still writing because like the Macabre at the Meadery tale, I wrote that. I edited it, and that's what I was like, because the venue, Dave at the Wandering Wind Meadery, who hosts this, he asked me after the show, he was like, this was fantastic. This went off amazingly. He's like, same day next month. And I'm like, I don't know if I can get a whole other 8 different storylines written by next month. I was like, how about we do an encore show? And he's like, perfect, because it is a small venue. So this way other people get to get in and see the same show.
Yeah, I would guess
and it gives me more time to write another story.
Right.
Yeah, people are probably like, oh, you could whip one up. I wanted to comment on the Bearded Bad Dad tuning in. Hey, Bearded Bad Dad. Him and I just made acquaintances recently, and we subscribed to each other's YouTube channels. So what's up there, big guy?
Be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which again I'm still writing. Those are the stories that I'm also still writing.
Okay.
So I am constantly writing. It seems like that's all I get done now. But it is Moonlit Tales. On YouTube, you can find it under WV London Blue. And on Spotify, you can find it on WV Moonlit Tales.
Perfect.
So,
okay. We'll have to make sure that we get that information so
absolutely
post
Please
it up
subscribe.
there, and and we can subscribe as well. But
because that is a lot of work, having to write a new story every 2 weeks and then writing these interactive stories.
How many words are these stories?
I'm sorry?
How many words are these stories that you're writing every 2
they
weeks?
range anywhere. Most of the podcasts are about 30, 35 minutes. Sometimes if I don't have enough time, it'll be like 15 minutes long. So they're pretty lengthy stories. So
Wow.
Like the Macabre at the Meadery was because there was different paths for it. The story itself, the live show literally lasted about an hour, but all of the different storylines that I had to write into it. I mean, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many thousands of words that was. And then I had to go back and practice each storyline so I would at least be familiar enough with it to read it in public.
Right. And not get it mixed up with something else.
Exactly.
Did you find it harder to read in public? I mean, I know some people have an issue with that, but I mean, how was it for you? Were you terrified or was it exciting?
That is actually a fun question because when I went back to school, I went back to college when I was 37, 38. And the first time I had to do a presentation, I was obviously the oldest chick in the classroom. Everybody in the classroom
Right.
was like 18, 19. And we had to do this big presentation. And I was already nervous going back to school with these kids that I'm old enough to be their mother.
Yep.
And then I have to get up and do a presentation and win, their attention and applause or whatever. Literally, when I did that first presentation, I remember having to grab a hold of the desk in front of me because my knees and my body was shaking so bad where I was so nervous. I almost fell. I was like getting hot flashes before menopause kicked in, and it was awful.
Hey, look at you now.
I have literally
no
had to push
problem.
through it. Actually, but no, see, that's the thing is just before this new event that I just did, I was so nervous. I mean, I was literally shaking. But that's where wondering when mead comes in handy.
Yes.
I can have a drink or two and I relax a little bit more. And I'm more talkative.
Yeah.
Makes it go simple.
It does. Way more relaxing.
I think a lot of us do have that getting tongue-tied, obviously. I can't speak. But
I really do hate
I think
to
a
talk.
lot of us.
I really do hate public speaking. I really do.
Yeah. A lot of people have that phobia. They are scared to death to get up in front. And there's some people that are able to hide it well. Like if you are scared to death, I would have never been able to tell. Never. So, I mean, you're doing a great job.
Yeah. She's
and
cheating.
Jack said, whiskey helps.
Well, that's the thing about the mead. The mead is a form of wine that's made from honey. So it's
I knew that from the 13th Warrior movie.
than just saying I'm over here doing shots of whiskey.
Mead is good. I used to drink it regularly, but after a while it gets a little
Oh yeah.
Gotta switch it up. But so what is next for you?
Oh wow. Right now, like I say, I'm trying to finish Janie and the Dragon. I want to get that book finished. I did send a story in for a competition and for one of the top 5 publishing houses. And I got feedback saying that that the story that I had written was a little older versus the age group they were publishing for. But the quote from my friend said that London Blue has mad writing chops. We want to see more from her. So I'm literally hoping that, of course, I got to have an agent. So anybody out there, it's a literary agent. I need an agent because Janie and the Dragon is about to be finished. And I want to pitch it to this particular publishing house. But so I need an agent. So if you're an agent, send me a message.
Look at her going from fear of talking in public to like, hey, help a sister out.
But finishing up Janie and the Dragon. Apparently I've got all these events coming up. The Macabre at the Meadery apparently is going to become a regular thing where I'm going to be doing that every couple of months. The podcast is every 2 weeks. Then I have the Dragon Palooza this summer and the Moonlit Mysteries event in October. And in between, just trying to finish up the books that I'm already working on. Like I said, I'm working on 4. So, but Janie and the Dragon is my priority.
How do you come up with so much content to put out there and have something different to talk about on your podcast in front of people and your books and this and that? Where in the hell does this information or this
where are you storing all these words?
Which personality are you using?
Okay.
Help me.
That's funny. Number one, where am I storing them? I believe in my belly and my butt right now.
I feel that.
Keep putting on the weight. I think all the words are going down there. But
I feel that. Jack says you're crazy like us.
But no, seriously, I don't understand. I mean, I can't even sleep at night because there's so many storylines and so many characters bouncing around in my head. And it's just like, I got to get this stuff out.
So you have ADHD.
Yeah.
It could be. My family teases me. My husband says he teases me and says he thinks I'm schizophrenic, and my kids say that no, I'm definitely bipolar. Because it who knows?
It's bad enough that all your family has a diagnosis, but you could possibly have all of it.
But hey, I embrace it if that's the case. Whatever, I embrace it because it gives me a lot of content to write.
Wow. I just don't know if
it literally keeps me up at night because I'll get these story ideas and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. Should I at least roll over and type the idea so I don't forget it? And I'm like, no, if it's a strong enough idea and it sticks with me, then I'll write it. But yeah, if I go to sleep and I lose the idea, then it's like, all right, then it wasn't worthy of a story. Okay. So it's whatever tale or character haunts me the longest.
Yeah.
That's the ones that get written.
Okay. All right. I see that because it's kind of nudging you like, hey lady, I need to get on paper.
Yeah.
So,
you do realize you just told all the other voices in your head how to get your attention. That's not good.
I guess I did.
You blew it.
I think they knew.
Now the whole world's going to think I'm a real nut, but oh well.
Buy her books. She needs her meds.
Right? Exactly.
Now that belongs on a t-shirt.
Lady.
Yeah. Buy my books. I need my meds.
Yep. I'm gonna make $1 million with that t-shirt.
I'm gonna make it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I also do a little website design and graphic design, or get logos designs, and
good Lord, woman, you do not stop.
I do a lot of.
She fits in with me and Dee.
I do a lot of crafting too. Literally, I did a wine bottle witch house, which was literally raffled off at this last event because there's a witch house in the story, and so it was awarded as one of the door prizes at the interactive storytelling event.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see. There's a hand over here.
Yeah, I see that.
I see a doll head.
Yeah. So I'm always dabbling in something. Well, if it's not writing, I'm crafting something creepy. So
that's cool. That is really cool.
I stay busy.
I'm like in awe of everything that you do and get done. And but it's true. And Jack said it. Imagination never shuts down. That was his first sentence. Imagination never shuts down.
Yeah.
And that's so true. You can always count on something, and it's always when I don't have paper around me or anything to jot it down. But I like in the shower, you come up with some of the best storyline ever. You get out of the shower and it's a magical place, and you forget.
So true. So true.
Yes, it's so like, do you carry paper around with you all the time, or are you using your phone? How do you keep it in here to out there?
On the ideas, like I said, that just won't leave me alone, that continue to haunt me for several days.
Yes.
I'll literally text myself. You can text yourself. You literally just open a new text, put your phone number in, and I'll send myself a text. And that way I can just scroll through and see which ideas I want to run with, but it's quick and easy. That way I usually use Google Docs when I write, because it does the automatic backup and I can access it from my phone or tablet or the computer. But for those quick moments, like when you first get out of the shower, I'll grab my phone and I'll just literally text myself an idea.
Okay.
That way I'm not blowing anybody else up.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm getting some good ideas from you. Thank you.
I tried that once and I blocked myself.
Did you get vulgar again with yourself?
Yes, and I argued about a Pornhub account. And I lost.
And you got blocked.
It happens all the time.
That'll teach you to talk like that to yourself. Oh, Jack.
What do you say? I need to what?
He said,
Oh.
"I need you to create a pet with special powers. My cat needs a playmate." He wrote a story called Domino, and it's about his actual real life pet that played a big life saving role in his story. So it has
Oh,
superpowers. It
okay.
was a good story. I mean, it was in the
It
Word
was?
Peddler. Yeah, it was in the Word Peddler magazine, which is on Amazon. But
Okay. Well, how do I get my hands on it? Maybe I'll write
Amazon.
Amazon.
Amazon,
Okay.
sister. Yeah, Amazon.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe I'll read
We've,
it and make his cat a mate.
Give her more ideas. Give her more of something to do because she
Nice.
doesn't have enough.
Well,
So,
Right.
that it could be a story for the podcast. So,
there you go.
yeah,
You're gonna have to
Works
sign
out.
up for the podcast.
dual citizenship. The story can take place here and hold citizenship over here.
So when you're not, if you're not, for maybe I think it sounds like 10 minutes throughout the day that you're actually not doing writing, not breathing writing, not sleeping writing, what are some other things that you like to do just that don't include writing outside of that? When you need to take a break, what are you doing?
Absolutely spending time with my kids. My grandbaby. She's absolutely precious, and just her
Oh,
giggle and smile makes my heart thump. Like to I don't get as much time as I'd like to, but I like
yeah.
hanging out with my mom and going over to their house and having cookouts. And I'm a family oriented person. I love my family. I like being around my family.
Okay.
When my oldest daughter moved out, it was just like, oh, I lost a limb. I mean, it
Oh.
was devastating. And my youngest daughter keeps threatening to move out, because she's almost 19. She's going to college. She's working. She wants more independence. I'm like, no, you can't leave. You've got to stay home with mommy.
When
You
my
need
kids
me.
moved, girl, when
And then
my
the
kids
reality is,
moved,
you can't leave because I need you.
yeah, when my kids moved, I was like, "Psh, okay, bye." I did not suffer from empty nest at all. I was like, sayonara.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Yep.
the girls always tease me that I'm the one that's had separation anxiety. I mean, every first day of school when I drop them off at at elementary school, I would leave the halls pouring the tears and red
Maybe that
faced,
was my problem.
and they're
I
like,
just
"Mom,
never,
mom, don't
yeah,
hug me, don't
it's
kiss me." I'm
embarrassing.
like,
It's
"Ah!"
embarrassing. I remember when my son, who is now 23, when his first day of kindergarten, my mom calls and she's all boo-hooing on the phone, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, yes, the last one's going to school. And she's on the phone with him and he's going, Grandma, Grandma, don't cry. It's okay. Grandma, this has to happen. Grandma, this is normal. I'm just like, people don't prepare themselves sometimes, I think. And I think that's why we have the reaction being
Yeah.
mothers the way that, oh my God, when my kids, hit all those milestones, out of diapers, started school, went to junior high, I was like, bye. I've been ready for this.
Oh yeah, no.
I was very happy that they grew up.
Yeah, no, I even started my own photography business because when the girls started elementary school, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to sign up into their yearbook, and that way, I can go to school with them.
I could be involved. Why didn't you just do lunch lady or librarian like everybody else's mom did?
Yeah, well,
She's like,
the
no,
whole
I'm going to be there all day and take pictures of you and
yeah,
see your whole life.
yeah, yeah, no,
That's
but
funny.
no, the yearbook was a really fun project because I got to create the covers and yeah, so I did that for several years and
Oh,
did some
that's cool,
fundraisers for
though.
them. Like I said previously, I worked in the church and I've helped at some of the haunted houses for special effects. Oh, I love to dabble in special effects makeup. I love special effects horror makeup. I've
So
done
what
some
do
of
you
the
doesn't?
not know how to do?
Oh, and the desk that's currently here, I literally built out of my children's loft bed. When the loft bed, I literally disassembled the loft bed,
Lady.
cut it up, and created my own little desk out of their loft bed because I didn't want to throw their loft bed away. So I thought, well, a good way I can keep a hold of their bed is I'll turn it into my desk.
First of all, that's really sweet. But
And-
what
and
do
the
you
shelf,
what do
and
you
the shelf.
not know how to do?
Yeah.
The shelf here is also created from their loft bed.
So when can
Holy
we expect
moly.
the cure for the common cold? Is that like
Right.
a week away now?
We're getting. Is it going to be a vaccine or is it just going to be a pill?
No.
Or a chewy. You know, a gummy would be good.
Guys, no, I'm telling you, the cure for the common cold is the wondering when meadery mead.
Solved. It's done. What's
It may
next?
not cure the cold, but hey, you won't care about the cold
Maybe-
anymore.
Maybe that's my problem. I'm not.
It's kind of the
drinking
hot
enough.
toddy, like the old wives'
Yes.
tales,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
old
there's-
or old people used to do.
There is something to be said for them hot toddies.
Yeah, those
I
hot
will say.
toddies will clear their sinuses, girl.
Everything. They will clear out everything.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Touche.
Damn, Jack.
That's true.
Oh, geez. Nice one,
Jack.
Jack.
Rude.
I gave up all hope on
Yeah.
that, but
Hot toddies, apparently.
Yeah, somebody on my Facebook friends posted happy VD for Valentine's Day, and I'm like, oh, well, happy venereal disease to you too.
My yearly one is Happy Valentine's A. For those of you who won't be getting the V or the D,
I haven't heard that
Every
That's
year.
funny.
Every
That's
year.
funny.
But-
Oh, that's
that was
hilarious.
definitely a contribution. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, Dan,
So-
what kind of mic do you have? I like that.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
a
My-
Hypex.
It's
Yeah, I prefer not to talk into a penis like
my penis 3000.
Jen does.
I went old school. I got the old school.
See, that's badass.
Is
Yeah,
that
the old
blue?
school. Now you just put like a little thing above it, WBC or something.
Right.
No, I got lucky. I
her
found a
mo-
deal on this one. Good.
That's pretty cool looking now.
I like it
is.
because I can mute it right from the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Well, mine's
it's
supposed
got a
to
lot
be-
of tricks.
And mine's supposed to have, well, this one has like where you can hear from either side of the mic, or you can do surround sound, or you can focus on just the front mic.
Jesus, Jack.
Oh,
All
my
I
goodness.
wanted was a pink microphone, and it came in, and as soon as I opened it, my husband looks at me and goes, "So you're talking to penises now, huh?"
Yeah.
I was like, God
You've been
damn
saying
it.
it since you first did it. And on
Yeah.
this show, you're sitting here gripping it like this, and I'm just like,
Yes.
oh man.
Well, because my mute button's right here. I'm not coughing into this thing. I don't want it to sound like I'm choking.
Yeah. And they say I'm the bad influence. Listen to this.
Sorry.
One got 11.
Oh my
Jail
goodness.
Foulk choked on her mic.
I can't believe I said that out loud.
Oh
Okay,
my
people did
goodness.
not show up to watch us dying of
Yeah,
laughter.
you guys got me over here smearing my mascara from tears. I'm
Girl,
laughing.
every once in a while we lose our shit. Apparently it's right now. So, I wanted a microphone to match my keyboard. Everything was pink. I got my rose gold everything, even this is my rose gold phone holder, everything to match my scissors. Got a pink microphone and it looks like a penis. I'm just
And
like,
the whole time you're just like,
I'm going like this.
And trying not to choke in it.
Try not to
Right.
choke it.
now, and you're hugging it.
Trying to just choke it, not choke in it.
Don't choke that chicken woman.
Oh my goodness.
All of a sudden it starts going,
Almost
guys
got
are
through a
great.
whole show without your smut.
Almost. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, that's
Poor
hilarious.
D. Jack, stop it. Do not. I don't need any fuel.
No, Jack, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Oh my god. Let's hope D doesn't see this one.
I'm
It
going to
was
email
fine.
it to her.
It was fine up until the 50 mark. All hell
Well, we
broke loose.
can't behave all the time. I mean, come
No.
on.
No, thank God you're normal. Oh,
Hmm.
oh my God. So back to children's books.
Yeah, great subject. Well, you know, you keep playing with the mic like that, you're bound to have another child.
I'm changing this motherfucker out. I'm done.
Oh my goodness.
Is that oh my god. Really, you are gonna write, and you said you were writing a children's book and you're trying to get into doing it.
It's more young adult. It's
Okay.
I mean, there's witches and feral fairies and dragons and
Hell, I'm an adult. I'm not young, but I like that stuff.
yeah.
I might still buy it and read it.
Yeah, and
I've-
that's why I say it's not really a children's book, and I'm labeling it as a young adult. Although it's probably adults would probably enjoy it more than 13, 14-year-old kids would, but I'm labeling it young adult to make sure that people know the difference between the adult horror type stuff I've written versus something that's a little more appropriate for teenagers and up. But it's still probably
okay.
I have to ask.
There's always references in even like the young adult, like the Tabar. There's references in there that only adults will get, like Indiana Jones and Betty Davis Eyes, and so there's even on when I say I'm writing a young adult, I still write to
the adult,
entertain the adult that's reading.
So you're a Disney movie.
What exactly is a feral fairy? Because I have a couple things in mind right now, and I just got to know.
Okay, well, I use that term because typically people consider fairies, especially when you're talking about young adult, they think of fairies, they think of like Tinkerbell, cute little pretty Tinkerbell, trying to do good and help others or whatever. No, my fairies aren't cute, my fairies are kind of weird looking. Then there's different levels, different sizes, and there's different positions that they all hold, and
so they're the fairies from the wrong
here
side
she
of the
is.
track.
Here she is. I'm sitting here describing the different positions and different sizes of my fairies, and she's sitting there holding her pink
about to die.
grabbing. But
sounds like I need a feral. Sounds like I need a feral fairy.
They're not nice. They're not nice fairies.
Oh, then never mind.
They're not nice fairies.
BDSM fairies. Then
meaning feral, they've been transitioned into this Appalachian area, and they don't like it. They're trying to get back home, and they're not nice to anybody that gets in their way.
Are there like certain requirements in order for it to get, or is it just you labeling it young adult? Are there is there like a young adult association that
I have no idea.
The gatekeepers?
I have no idea. That's like somebody asked me on another podcast, why I call it dark fiction. What is dark fiction? I'm like, well,
I don't know. It's a new term, I guess.
And I guess it's something I created. I don't know. Because nobody else seems to know what it is. So I guess it's just something I made up in my head. But literally, it's not horror. It's not horror.
Yeah.
And it's not cozy mystery. It's dark fiction. I mean, it's fiction appropriate for young adult that has some dark twists and turns. So, be wary that there may be something in there that you may not appreciate. But it's not going to be so outlandish or that it's a rated R versus a PG-13.
That brings me to next question. How do you feel about trigger warnings on books? This is a new
discussion.
Yeah.
Hmm. Um,
Probably the same as I.
probably. Um, if you're picking up a horror book, if you're picking up an adult horror book and you read the blurb or, the synopsis or whatever, and you kind of have an idea what you're going into, if you're an adult,
The genre says it all right there. Horror. Okay. My take on it is you kind of got to expect everything
or
from,
Right.
anything,
like, when I hear
anything
horror,
that's
I
horrifying.
saw the movies, all 10 of them, 12 of them, however many they're going up to. You expect it's a horror movie and you see that there's a cut off foot at the beginning in
Yes,
on the cover. It's not going to
Yeah.
be pretty. It's not going to be
No.
sunshines and daisies and
yes,
unicorns farting rainbows. It's going to be
exactly.
gross.
Or if you
And
have
that's
a
what,
book cover of a woman chained in a basement, what do you think's
yeah,
going to happen?
exactly. If
Mhm.
you've been in a situation like that, you might not want to read it. It's probably I just don't agree with trigger warnings at all.
I have put them in my books just because I try
It's
to
polite.
be a team
It's
player. um
who's a good girl.
right. That
Just
me
I'm like, fuck
personally,
you.
I'm kind of the same thought. I mean, if you have this trigger and this trigger and this, if you have like a list of triggers, then why are you reading the
Just
horror
don't.
genre? Just
Right,
jump over
just
to your
don't.
cozy mystery,
Right.
Agatha Christie and Murder
Right.
She Wrote. Jump over to that stuff. If you want horror, I always, and that's when another reason why I said young adult dark fiction. I don't want to call it horror because the term horror in my mind, when I'm looking at horror movies or horror books, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get the abuse, the gore,
Yes.
the murder, the dismemberments, the slasher stuff. Of course, I'm 50. I grew up with the 80s slasher movies, so I'm
Yes.
Right.
used to
Yes.
blood and gore and Michael Myers and
Camp
Jason
Crystal
and
Lake.
right. So horror to me is it's
Don't
it's for
have
the
sex.
extreme.
You're going to die.
Right. So, and I guess that's another reason why I termed my young adult as dark fiction. It still has
Right.
dark, creepy stuff, but it's not adult horror. It's not that extreme things that you
Right.
have to be wary of trigger warnings because somebody's going to get offended. And I hope nobody gets offended by my response, but that's just my opinion.
Anymore, you can't guarantee you're not going to offend at least somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
everybody's touchy.
I told my husband, I was like, my new superpower is I can make anybody mad at any given time for
Yes.
something completely stupid.
Yep.
I have a talent for it.
I mean, here we are, Gen X. Who cares?
Yep.
Who cares? Go cry somewhere else.
I'm creeping up on the senior citizen thing, so at this point it's
Oh, no,
almost
ma'am.
to the
No, ma'am. We're Gen X. We don't get old. No,
it,
ma'am.
it's almost to the point that it's like at some point you just got to start respecting me because I'm your elder,
Right.
regardless of what I say.
Just shut up. Just shut up.
What was that about
Well-
the zombies?
Yeah, what was
Oh.
that?
That popped
How
up
about-
last night on last night's show. It gave
Okay.
Alan all the we were talking about zombies and
Truffle
Goonies.
Shuffle?
the truffle shuffle from Goonies. So he's fixated on zombies doing the truffle shuffle.
Shuffle. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, that's interesting.
That would be very interesting. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Look, we're actually over time. You are so much fun.
Oh, thank
you
you.
have got to come back on again.
Absolutely.
We'll just have a BS session where we just chill and just yeah, we all need therapy, Alan. We all need therapy.
Oh, I've had a blast. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so thrilled to have you, and I cannot wait to get you back on here. Thank you for coming on here. Where can people find you? Every locale that they can get you on social media. Where would that be?
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, I love you too, Jack. You can find me on all social media under WV London Blue. You can actually send me a friend request on Facebook under London Blue. Leave the E off. If you put the E on, you're going to be taken to my page. If you want to find me to where you can actually talk to me and send me a friend request, leave the E off. London Blue, BLU. YouTube channel, WV London Blue. The podcast is Moonlit Tales. Spotify, WV Moonlit Tales. TikTok, WV London Blue. I'm on all the social media. My website is wvlondonblue.com.
Scrolling right across the bottom right there.
Yep.
But I'll be honest with you, I don't update that as often as I should. So if you really want to stay current on what I'm doing, it's best to follow me on Facebook under London Blue.
That's thank you.
And then, of course, you can find my books on Amazon. Apparently,
Yes.
they're hard to find. Okay, so I'll tell you a trick on finding my books on Amazon. When you go in, you type in London Blue, add one of my book titles like The Tabar or Mass Mayhem, and then it'll pull up my profile.
Should bring it all up, right?
Yeah, and the anthologies that I've been published in, most of those are on that page too, so you can get those as well.
Okay, awesome.
Outstanding.
Well, thank you again for showing up and for just being an amazing, amazing guest. We really appreciate it. A lot of our people have said, you know, this was a great show. Fulton from the Bearded Dad, he said, I'm glad I tuned in. Good show. Thank you. And Alan, you're awesome. Thank you, Jack. And I don't know if Angel Ramon is on here anymore, but if he isn't, oh well. Hi, thank you for showing up. So this was our podcast. God, what am I doing today? The Book Asylum podcast. Sorry. Thanks.
That microphone. So distracting. I can't stop staring at it. It's like I've seen you before.
So big.
Not paint though.
It is pretty wide.
Thank you for showing up to the sick side of the Book Asylum podcast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So much fun. Much love.
I'm very glad. You can find us every Saturday on the Book Asylum podcast page, or see us here live every Saturday, 1 p.m. Central. So we hope to see you guys another day.
Absolutely.
We're out, everybody.
Toodles.